the person you represent, what do you owe them? Well, that's your fiduciary or fiduciary responsibilities, but what is that? Everybody remember CC load?
Yes.
Care?
Loyalty.
What is care? What is care?
Care.
See, now you all think you know this, because we all know what CC load is. Care, confidentiality, loyalty, obedience, disclosure. What does that mean?
Care.
What is care?
Care.
What is it?
Provide attention.
Attention? Absolutely.
Information would be.
Information, absolutely, would be underneath care also. Also underneath care is that you know what you're doing.
Care.
If you don't know what you're doing, you just violated the first sin. And hopefully that's why you're all here, learn a little bit more about buyer's agency and able to go out there and do it. Confidentiality. What is confidentiality? Not opening your mouth?
Not to disclose things that the seller asks not to do it.
Not disclosing personal information, but then again, if they can't get approved for a mortgage, you can disclose that.
Business information about, for instance, if they negotiate.
Correct. Negotiating positions. If the person tells you, your buyer tells you, well, yeah, I can spend more money on that house, would you disclose that?
No.
You can't.
No.
If I represent the buyer.
Not if you're representing the buyer.
No, if you're representing the seller.
Correct. If you're representing the seller. We'll talk about the buyer now, and then we'll talk about the seller briefly. But you representing the buyer, if the buyer tells you, hey, you know what, Steve? Yeah, I put an offer in for $300, but I really can afford to go to like $330, $340. Is that information you bring back to the seller?
No.
Not if you represent the buyer, you know. That would be covered with confidentiality. Loyalty. What's loyalty? I know it's such a simple word. What's loyalty?
Whose side you're on.
Exactly what it is. Who are you loyal to? Whose interest do you have to put above everybody else's? If you're representing the buyer, the buyer. Can you put your interest above the buyer's interest?
No.
I'm getting paid 3% on this listing as a buyer's broker, but I'm only getting paid nothing on the other side. Do I push them to this house if that's not the best house for them?
No.
Now, that's where your loyalty lies. And most people, when they get in trouble, is for confidentiality and loyalty. Where do their loyalties lie? What did they say that they shouldn't have said? Obedience. What does obedience mean?
Do what they tell you.
Do what they tell you, within the contents of the law. If a buyer, if you're acting as a buyer's agent, and you're representing a buyer, and that buyer says, listen, I'm Asian, I want to live in an Asian area. Only show me houses that are in Asian areas. Can you do that?
No.
Now, so all this stuff is going to be within the context of the law. Accounting. Accounting is where the funds are being kept. You guys don't do that in New York. In other states, they actually hold the escrow money. Disclosure. What do you have to disclose to your buyer? Think of a regular transaction. You're representing that buyer. What would be things that you have to disclose?
The documents you're talking about, the agency disclosure, your lead-based
Agency
disclosure,
disclosure
property
is
condition
the
disclosure.
biggest thing first.
There are defects that you have to expose.
Property condition.
Defects that you have to expose. And I'll talk quickly about defects. Do you know the way the New York law is written? If you know about something, or should have known about something based upon your expertise, you have to disclose it. Now, if you're representing a buyer, what do you have to disclose to them? Everything that you know. If you know that seller is going through divorce, do you have to disclose that?
Yes.
If you're representing the buyer, do you have to disclose that?
Yes.
If you know that the value of houses are going down, statistically they are going down, and you've looked at the value of houses going down, is that something you would disclose to a buyer?
Yes. Absolutely.
Not an opinion.
It's a fact.
As a market, if you're projecting where the value of a house is going to be a year in the future.
No, I'm not talking in the future. If you look at things like
Historically.
Case-Shiller Index. The Case-Shiller Index tells you what house prices are going down. And if you know house prices have gone down in the past 3 months, and you don't disclose that, and you know about it, guess who just violated their duties? You did. That's something you should know based upon your expertise in real estate. Even if you didn't know it, that has to be disclosed. There's a case